Ever wondered how frameworks like Spring or Hibernate magically manage your objects without knowing their names at compile time? That's the power of the Java Reflection API. In this video, we will cover Java Reflection API practice questions and detailed explanations. Unlock the secrets of the Java Reflection API with this comprehensive practice test. In this video, we tackle 30 high-yield practice questions designed to mirror the current 2026 Java certification standards. We cover everything from basic class introspection to advanced security managers and performance tuning with method handles. Before we dive in, grab a notebook and see how many you can get right. Let's sharpen those Java skills. Which of the following is not a valid way to obtain a class object in Java? Option A, my class, class. Option B, new my class, get class. Option C, class, for name, com, example, my class. Option D, class, get class, my class. The correct answer is D. Option D is incorrect because there is no get class string static method in the class. The standard ways to retrieve a class object are 1. Using the class literal, the safest and most efficient if the type is known at compile time. 2. Using the get class method on an existing instance, useful for runtime polymorphism. 3. Using the static class for name string method, required when the class name is provided as a string at runtime. Often used in JDBC or plugin systems. What is the primary difference between get methods and get declared methods? Option A, get methods returns private methods. Get declared methods does not. Option B, get methods returns all public methods including inherited ones. Get declared methods returns all methods declared only in the class itself. Option C, get declared methods returns only public methods of the class. Option D, there is no difference. They are aliases. The correct answer is B. The get methods method returns an array of method objects representing all public methods of the class or interface, including those inherited from superclasses and superinterfaces. In contrast, get declared methods returns an array containing method objects reflecting all methods declared by the class or interface itself, including public, protected, default, package, access, and private methods, but excludes inherited methods. This distinction is crucial for frameworks that need to look at specific local logic versus public API surface. Which method is used to suppress Java language access control checks for a field or method object? Option A, field, set public, true. Option B, field, set accessible, true. Option C, field, disable security. Option D, field, force access. The correct answer is B. The setAccessible Boolean flag method, inherited from accessible object, allows a program to break encapsulation. By setting it to true, you can access and modify private fields or invoke private methods from outside their defining class. However, in modern Java, post-Java 9, this is heavily restricted by the module system. If the code is running in a module that does not open its packages to your module, setAccessible true will throw an inaccessible object exception. How should you create a new instance of a class that has a private constructor with no arguments? Using reflection? Option A, class, new instance. Option B. Class, getDeclaredConstructor, new instance. Option C. Class, getDeclaredConstructor, setAccessible, true. Constructor, new instance. Option D. Constructor, create instance. Class. The correct answer is C. To instantiate a class with a private constructor, you must first retrieve the specific constructor using getDeclaredConstructor. Single quote. Since the constructor is private, a direct call to new instance would throw an illegal access exception. Therefore, you must call setAccessible true on the constructor object before calling new instance. Single quote. Note that class, new instance, is deprecated since Java 9 because it doesn't propagate exceptions correctly and can only use the nullary constructor. What happens if you use reflection to set the value of a static final primitive field? Option A. It works perfectly and updates the value in the JVM. Option B. It throws an illegal access exception immediately. Option C. The value changes in the field object but usually doesn't affect the code because of JIT compiler inlining. Option D. The JVM crashes. The correct answer is C. Modifying static final fields via reflection is highly discouraged and often ineffective. While you can sometimes use setAccessible true and remove the final modifier bits from the field's internal modifiers to execute field.set. Single quote. The JIT compiler usually inlines the values of static final primitives and strings at compile time or early runtime. Consequently, even if the reflection code succeeds, the rest of the application will continue to see the old inlined value. In modern JDKs, this is further protected against to maintain JVM integrity. In terms of performance, which is generally the most efficient for repeated dynamic method calls? Option A. Standard java.lang.reflect method, invoke. Option B. MethodHandles, lookup, find virtual, with a static final method handle. Option C. Class, for name, called every time. Option D. Generating a new string every time to search for the method. The correct answer is B. Method handles, introduced in Java 7, are designed to be more efficient than the core reflection API. When a method handle is stored in a static final field, the JIT compiler can treat the call almost like a direct method call, performing optimizations like inlining. Core reflection method invoke involves overhead such as boxing, unboxing of arguments and repetitive security access checks. Method handles perform these checks once during creation, at lookup time, making them significantly faster for high-frequency operations. Which class is used to decode the integer bit mask returned by get modifiers? Option A. Java.lang.reflect modifier. Option B. Java.lang.reflect access. Option C. Java.lang.reflect bitmask. Option D. Java.lang class. The correct answer is A. The get modifiers method on class method or field returns an int, where each bit represents a modifier. Public, private, static, final, etc. The Java.lang.reflect modifier class provides static methods like is public, int, single quote, is static, int, single quote, and toString, int. to translate this bitmask into a human-readable format or Boolean checks. This is the standard way to programmatically inspect the keywords used in a declaration. How can you retrieve the actual type argument of a generic list field? E.g., list less than string greater than. At runtime using reflection? Option A. Field. Get type. Get generic arguments. Option B. Field. Get generic type. And then cast to parameterized type. Option C. It is impossible due to type erasure. Option D. Field. Get actual class. The correct answer is B. While Java uses type erasure for local variables and generic instances, the generic signature of fields, methods, and classes is actually preserved in the class file metadata. To access it, you use field, get generic type, single quote, if the field is a list less than string greater than. This returns a type object that can be cast to java.lang.reflect parameterized type. You can then call get actual type arguments on that object to see that the first argument is indeed string class. Which retention policy must an annotation have to be visible to the reflection API at runtime? Option A. Retention policy source. Option B. Retention policy class. Option C. Retention policy runtime. Option D. Retention policy compiler. The correct answer is C. Annotations have 3 retention levels. 1. Source. Discarded by the compiler. 2. Class. Stored in the class file but ignored by the VM. The default. 3. Runtime. Stored in the class file and available at runtime via reflection. To use class, get annotation. My annotation, class. Single quote. My annotation must be marked with at retention. Retention policy. Runtime. Single quote. Otherwise, the method will return null. Which class provides static methods to dynamically create and access Java arrays? Option A. java.lang.reflect array. Option B. java.util arrays. Option C. java.lang class. Option D. java.lang.reflect field. The correct answer is A. The java.lang.reflect array class, not to be confused with java.util arrays, provides essential utilities for reflective array management. It includes methods like array, new instance, class less than, greater than component type, int length, to create arrays of unknown types at runtime, and array.get, object array, int index, or array.set, object array, int index, object value, to manipulate them without needing to cast to a specific array type. When a reflected method throws an exception during invocation, which exception is caught by the invoker? Option A. The original exception directly. Option B. Runtime exception. Option C. Invocation target exception. Option D. Reflection exception. The correct answer is C. When you call method, invoke, single quote, any exception thrown by the underlying method is wrapped in a checked exception called java.lang.reflect invocation target exception. To get the actual exception thrown by the business logic, you must call get cause on the invocation target exception. This wrapping allows the invoke method to have a consistent signature regardless of what the target method throws. How do you check if a class object represents an interface? Option A. Class is interface. Option B. Class instance of interface. Option C. Modifier is interface. Class get modifiers. Option D. Both A and C. The correct answer is D. Both class is interface and checking the modifier bitmask via modifier is interface int are valid as interface is a convenience method provided by the class that internally checks the modifiers. Option B is incorrect because interface is not a type you can check with instance of in that manner. You are checking metadata, not object inheritance. What is returned by get constructors? Option A. All constructors declared in the class. Option B. Only the public constructors of the class. Option C. All public constructors including inherited ones. Option D. The default constructor only. The correct answer is B. Similar to get methods. Single quote, get constructors returns only the public constructors of the class. It does not return inherited constructors because constructors are not inherited in Java. To see private or protected constructors, you must use get declared constructors. Single quote dot. If you have two different class loaders loading the same class file, what is true about the resulting class objects? Option A. They are equal. C1 equals C2. Option B. They are not equal. C1 equals C2. Option C. Java throws a duplicate class exception. Option D. The second class loader uses the first one's class object. The correct answer is B. In Java, a class's identity is defined by its fully qualified name ** and * its class loader. Even if the bytecode is identical, two class objects loaded by different class loaders are considered different types. This is a common source of class cast exception, where an object appears to be the correct type but was created by a different class loader. Which interface must be implemented to create a dynamic proxy using java.lang.reflect proxy? Option A. Proxy handler. Option B. Invocation handler. Option C. Method interceptor. Option D. Dynamic callback. The correct answer is B. To create a dynamic proxy, you use proxy, new proxy instance, single quote, which requires an implementation of the java.lang.reflect invocation handler interface. This interface has a single method, invoke, object proxy, method, object, args, single quote, which intercepts all method calls made on the proxy instance. This is the foundation for AOP, aspect-oriented programming, in frameworks like Spring. How do you distinguish between a primitive int and its wrapper integer class using reflection? Option A. Field, get type, equals int, class. Option B. Field, get type, is primitive. Option C. Both A and B. Option D. Reflection treats them the same. The correct answer is C. Reflection maintains a strict distinction between primitive types and their wrappers. Int, class, or integer, type, represents the primitive int, while integer class represents the object wrapper. Class is primitive, will return true only for the 8 primitive types, and void class. Which method on a class object returns information about its package? Option A, class getPackageName. Option B, class getPackage. Option C, class getNamespace. Option D, both A and B. The correct answer is D. Historically, getPackage was the standard way to get a package object. However, Java 9 introduced getPackageName, single quote, which returns the package name as a string directly. Both are valid depending on whether you need the metadata object or just the name. How can you retrieve all constants of an enum class using reflection? Option A, class getFields. Option B, class getEnum constants. Option C, class getDeclaredFields. And filter for static. Option D, enum getValues. Class. The correct answer is B. While enum constants are technically static final fields, the class provides a dedicated method, getEnumConstants, that returns an array containing the constants in the order they are declared. This is much cleaner than manually filtering fields. Which permission is typically required by a security manager to allow reflective access to private members? Option A, reflect permission, suppress access checks. Option B, runtime permission, access declared members. Option C, file permission, read. Option D, security permission, all. The correct answer is A. When a security manager is present, calling setAccessible true triggers a check for java.lang.reflect permission. Suppress access checks, single quote. Without this permission, the JVM will throw a security exception, preventing the code from bypassing access control. By default, why does method getParameters 0 getName often return arg0 feed instead of the actual variable name? Option A, reflection doesn't support parameter names. Option B, the code was not compiled with the parameters flag. Option C, parameter names are always erased to save space. Option D, you must use getDeclaredParameters instead. The correct answer is B. Java class files do not store parameter names by default to keep the file size small. To make parameter names available via reflection at runtime, you must compile your source code using the parameters flag, JavaC parameters. If this flag wasn't used, the reflection API defaults to synthetic names like arg0, arg1foot, etc. In Java 2026, if Module A wants to allow Module B to use deep reflection, setAccessible on its private members, what must Module A's module info, Java contain? Option A, exports COM package A to Module B. Option B, opens COM package A to Module B. Option C, requires Module B. Option D, provides COM package A with Module B. The correct answer is B. The opens directive in the Java module system, JPMS, is specifically designed for deep reflection. Exports only allows public access at compile time and runtime. If you want to allow another module to call setAccessible, True. On non-public members, you must open the package to that specific module, or open it generally. What is signature polymorphism in the context of method handles? Option A. The ability of a method to have multiple signatures. Option B. A feature where the compiler treats method handle, invoke, as if it has the exact signature of the caller's target. Option C. A way to override final methods. Option D. The mechanism for finding methods with wildcards. The correct answer is B. Signature polymorphism is a special JVM-level feature for method handle, invoke, and invoke exact. It allows the Java compiler to compile a call to these methods without the usual argument boxing or type checking that method invoke requires. The JVM looks at the call site's descriptors and matches the types directly, which is a major reason why method handles outperform traditional reflection. Which of these is true about class objects for primitive types? Option A. They have no constructors. Option B. Their get superclass returns null. Option C. There is primitive returns true. Option D. All of the above. The correct answer is D. Primitive class objects, like int, class, are special. They are not classes in the traditional sense. They have no constructors, no methods of their own, no superclass. Even object is not their superclass in the reflection metadata sense, and is primitive, returns true. This distinguishes them from their object-oriented counterparts. How can you find the direct superclass of a given class? Option A. Class, get superclass. Option B. Class, get parents. 0. Option C. Class, get interfaces. Option D. Class, get inheritance. The correct answer is A. The get superclass method returns the class object representing the direct superclass of the entity. If the class is object, an interface, a primitive type, or void, it returns null. To find implemented interfaces, you would use get interfaces. Single quote dot. What is the second Boolean parameter in class? For name, string name, Boolean initialize, class loader. Used for? Option A. Whether to initialize the class. Run static blocks. Option B. Whether to check if the class exists. Option C. Whether to allow private access. Option D. Whether to load the class into the system class loader. The correct answer is A. By default, class, for name, string, initializes the class, meaning all static initializers, static blocks, are executed. The 3-parameter version allows you to load the class without immediately triggering that initialization by passing false. This is useful for performance or to avoid side effects during scanning. Which method would you use to check if an annotation is present on a class? Considering inherited annotations? Option A. Class, is annotation present? MyAnno, class. Option B. Class, get declared annotation. MyAnno, class. Option C. Class, get annotation. MyAnno, class. Option D. Both A and C. The correct answer is D. Both is annotation present and get annotation. Search up the inheritance hierarchy * if * the annotation itself is marked with @inherited. In contrast, getDeclaredAnnotation only checks the class itself, ignoring any annotations on superclasses. When using field.get obj, what should obj be if the field is static? Option A, an instance of the class. Option B, null. Option C, the class object itself. Option D, any object. The correct answer is B. For static fields, the object instance is ignored because the field belongs to the class, not an instance. While you can pass an instance, it is standard practice, and clearer, to pass null. If the field is an instance field and you pass null, a null pointer exception is thrown. Which exception is the common parent for most reflection-related checked exceptions? Option A, reflection exception. Option B, reflective operation exception. Option C, class not found exception. Option D, no such method exception. The correct answer is B. Introduced in Java 7. Reflective operation exception is the superclass of class not found exception. Illegal access exception, instantiation exception, invocation target exception, no such field exception, and no such method exception. Catching this single parent exception simplifies the try-catch blocks around reflective code. What is a synthetic method in Java reflection? Option A, a method added by the programmer to simulate a feature. Option B, a method generated by the compiler that does not appear in the source code. Option C, a method that has no body. Option D, a method with a generic return type. The correct answer is B. Synthetic members, methods or fields, are generated by the Java compiler to facilitate language features like inner classes or bridge. Methods for generics. For example, a private field in an inner class might need a synthetic getter to be accessible by the outer class. You can check for these using method is synthetic. Single quote dot. What is the primary advantage of VarHandles over the field API? Option A, they allow access to private fields. Option B, they provide fine-grained memory fencing and atomic operations, like compare and set. Option C, they are easier to read. Option D, they can modify final fields more easily. The correct answer is B. VarHandles, introduced in Java 9, provide a safe and efficient way to perform atomic and volatile memory operations on fields. Similar to what SunMISC, unsafe, used to offer but in a standardized API. While the field API only allows simple get and set, VarHandles allow compare and set, get and add, and various memory orderings: plain, opaque, release, acquire, volatile. That wraps up our 30-question deep dive into the Java Reflection API. How did you do? If you found some of the module-related or method handle questions tricky, don't worry. Those are the advanced areas that separate the pros from the beginners. If this helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more Java certification prep. It really helps the channel. For the full 2026 practice exam suite and downloadable resources, check the link in the description below.